This week is special. It's our 20th episode of the podcast, and the day that this is released is actually our 3rd anniversary. So we decided to do something fun. Nathan and I both wrote down a list of questions to ask each other, and neither of us know what questions we're going to be asked.
Welcome to the Olive Shoots Family Podcast, where we talk about family and parenting, homesteading, and the things God is leading us towards. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Brittany. We've been married for 3 years, have one little boy, and just got our first piece of land where we plan to build and start our homestead. We are passionate about the family unit and getting back to the basics of the way God created us to live. We have big dreams and are learning what it looks like to pursue those dreams while first trusting God's leading.
Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. So we have some questions to ask each other, but before we get to that, I just have to say happy 3-year anniversary, baby. And it's been a fun 3 years, and just thinking back on everything that God has done in our lives, thinking back on our relationship of just how these last few years have gone. It seems like we've been together so much longer than this, but yeah, it's just fun to celebrate 3 years with you. So happy anniversary.
Thanks. I think my first question was actually about our wedding, and I was wondering, what is your favorite memory from our wedding? Like from the wedding ceremony.
From the ceremony?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would be wrong if I didn't say, like, when I turned around and saw you walking down the aisle. That's like...
There's not a wrong answer.
No, I think there is, and that's it, if I don't give that answer. But... no, I think that's by far like my favorite moment, just because I remember like your uncle who did our ceremony for us. I was facing him. It seemed like for like hours.
Yeah, we had an outside wedding, so there was no way for me to be hidden, and so he just had to turn around and miss like half of the rest of the party walking down the aisle because he couldn't see me before.
Yeah.
So it probably did feel like a really long time.
Yeah, no, it did. And so there was like this slow buildup of, nope, still not yet. Just hold on. Just wait just a little bit longer. She's on her way.
And then my veil messed up.
Yeah. So her uncle was kind of playing out the scene to me. And then he was finally like, okay, you can turn around. And I turned around and just, started bawling and crying, and was just so extremely happy and grateful. So yeah, that's my favorite memory by far of our wedding. The cake was really good. I liked the cake.
Did we even eat any?
Not very much, but we did eat some of it. And then watching your littlest brother run around without his shirt on and suspenders was pretty funny.
And bow tie.
And bow tie. So, yeah, those are probably my favorite things. What has been your favorite memory or your favorite moment from motherhood so far?
Oh, that's hard. My favorite, like, probably... some of my favorite moments are just the things that are like, honestly now, looking back, even it's not even that far, is just the times of holding him when he was still and little and like taking a nap on me or whatever. And I don't know if that's my favorite because I'm loving the stage that he's in now. Like, that's a hard question because I think there's been, like, favorites of every single part. And so, like, now, he doesn't ever hardly sit still. But we're, like, playing, and he's talking all the time. And those, like, new favorite memories. But if I were to think back just in the first, 17 months, I would say probably a favorite that I miss is just having the little newborn nap snuggles.
Yeah. Yeah, just him being close on you and snuggling up to you. And you still get that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little different, but you still get that.
And he's like I just said, he's a talker. But at the very beginning, like when he was literally like 1-2 months old, it was kind of like a thing every time we would finish a feeding. So every time he was done nursing, I would set him up on my legs and just start talking to him, and he would just coo back and smile, and like it's I don't know, just thinking about that now, that's still his personality, but he's like saying real words.
Yeah,
That's cute. Yeah. Okay, your turn again.
My turn again? I just asked.
Well, no, your turn to answer.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What is your most memorable date that we've gone on? Not necessarily like your favorite, but the one that stands out the most. And it can be from like dating all the way up until recent.
Wow.
So like 4 years span, 4.5 years.
I think one of the ones that stands out to me is we were, I think it was either our anniversary or Valentine's. I can't remember the date behind it, but we were going out, we were celebrating something special, and we went out to dinner. We got a really nice dinner. We were both wearing like jeans. She was wearing a jean jacket. I was kind of wearing like this gray shirt, and we had like this whole photo shoot and stuff after it when we got home, and it was just really fun. And looking back on that, it's fun because, well, I'm pretty sure we were pregnant at the time in those photos, but didn't know it yet.
Yeah, I think so.
And so that was really cool. And then another one that's really memorable to me is our first date, for obvious reasons. But then on our first anniversary, we went back to the coffee shop that we had our first date in, and we're sitting in the same building, not in the same spot. And that was really neat.
Yeah, I think it was before we got married, but like it had been a year to the date of when we met.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that was fun. I'll have to go back to that coffee shop.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. Thinking of like, well, I'll do this one instead. Do you have like a life verse or a verse that you just cling to or that you come back to over and over in your life? And I'm not asking you to like recite it now, but just like, do you have a verse that has been really meaningful and impactful to you in your life?
I would say definitely different verses during different seasons, obviously like stand out more. But one that just now came to mind that I don't even remember the reference, but it's in Psalm, and it's, I am confident of this, I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And I think that's a verse that like comes back to my mind in different seasons. I think I was like maybe a senior in high school, and I kind of like, I don't know, not adopted that verse, but like latched onto that verse. And it's just one of those that comes back in my mind in like the difficult times and in the good times, but like one of those perspective shift verses of I will see the goodness of the Lord, and I'm like remaining confident of that.
Yeah.
And just like I said, in the hard times, and I think that the perspective of seeking to find the goodness, because even when it's not evident, or it seems like it's not evident, there is still goodness in some area.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, these question things are hard. Just put me on the spot. Okay. What are you most looking forward to about being a girl dad that you think will be different from being a boy dad?
Daddy-daughter dates, for sure. And like dancing around the living room. Like I dance with Emerson, but it's a different kind of, like, it's just like bro fist, like jumping up and down. Like, you know, energy, like dancing
spinning
crazy. But yeah, just little girls dancing with my little girl to Butterfly Kisses and crying and like, you know.
What? You literally told me you don't even like that song very much.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, just those slow dance kind of things, and daddy-daughter dates for sure are are two things that I'm like super, super excited for and scared about and nervous about, because it's like, it's loving and leading a little human in new ways. So, yeah, I'm really excited about it, but I would also say that maybe that's like, I don't know, learning how to do that is maybe what I'm most nervous about with being
learning how to love a girl versus, or not love, learning how to lead a girl versus
Yeah.
lead a boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we've had that conversation, and like, you are a man, so it's easier for you to wrap your mind around raising Emerson to be a man, but different.
Yeah. Yeah, challenging in new ways, I think. Yeah.
Is your baby or toddler teething? I'm always looking for natural products to give my baby instead of over-the-counter medicines that often contain artificial colors, flavors, added sweeteners, and other non-essential ingredients. Earthly's Teeth Tamer has been great. It's made from whole cloves and catnip, which works to reduce pain and swelling and provides a feeling of calmness and relaxation. My baby loves the taste of it, and I can tell it gives him relief. That's a win-win in my book. It's even effective for adults. It can help with pain from cavities, root canals, wisdom teeth removal, braces, and more. It's non-GMO, made in the USA, and made with 100% organic ingredients. If you're interested in Teeth Tamer, click the link in the show notes and check out the other amazing Earthly Wellness products while you're at it.
All right. This one might be a tough one, so sorry ahead of time. Is homemaking everything that you thought it would be? And how have you found joy in staying at home and being a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah, I think that I definitely wouldn't. I've never been at a point so far where I'm like wishing that was not what I was doing. But I also don't know that it's possible, really in anything, for anything to be everything you thought it would be if you have no experience with it yet. So I don't like remember. I'm sure obviously I had expectations or ideas of how it would play out, but I don't remember what those were. So how like it might be different, but even on day like you said, how do I find joy?
How do you find joy in it? Mm-hmm.
I think just remembering, and you like remind me of this on those days where I'm like, it's not even that I wish I was doing something else. It's like I've been stuck at home for 3 days in a row or for a week, and I mean it's usually not a week, but like in the winter when the weather's not nice and I'm not good at getting outside in the freezing cold, I just feel that like. Not that I wish I had a full-time job, but just like that freedom of not having a toddler or a baby, and being able to go get lunch with somebody, or even like sometimes I miss like the coaching part of basketball every time basketball rolls around, because I used to be a coach before Emerson. But like I said, it's never been a desire to like have a different role than what I have right now. So I guess in that sense, yes, I feel like it's what I always wanted, and it's still what I want. And then finding joy in the difficult moments, it's just remembering that this is what we both want for our family, and that the impact that it's having, not that there's anything wrong with if I was to go to work, but just I haven't missed like anything of Emerson's milestones at all. And that's a blessing and something that we both very much are thankful for. And then just being that, I don't know what word I'm looking for.
Comfort and stability.
Yeah, to Emerson, like he doesn't, like me and you both are his people, and I'm with him all the time, and I think that he's like, I feel every time we don't have Emerson in the car, which is like honestly not that often. I told Nathan the other day, I'm like, I feel like we're forgetting something. Like we went to Circle Group without him the other day, and the whole way there, I'm like, what did we forget? I'm not bringing something I was supposed to bring. But I think it's literally just that I'm not used to not having him with me probably as much as he's not used to it. But yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, those are good answers.
Okay, this is maybe one you won't like. What is your favorite thing about your personality?
Oh man, about my personality?
Yeah, about your personality.
Gosh, are you like setting me up to gloat about myself?
No. You don't like talking.
I don't know. I mean, I'll answer it this way because I'm gonna kind of answer it like without answering it. I think God created me in a specific way, and I think I'm thankful that God has given me a desire to just learn new things and new experiences, and I really enjoy that process of like picking up something new and diving into it and learning something new, and sometimes to a fault. Like I'll find a new topic and I'll like dive into it and watch a few videos on it and read some articles and things like that. And then by the end of the week, Britt's like, like move on to the next one or something. I don't know. But I think, yeah, just being that learner and enjoying the process of learning new things. And I say that because I think God has given me, through that, He's given me opportunity to connect with other people, to relate to other people. And even in this season of life that we're in kind of right now, where, I transitioned from being a pastor where I was with, like my job was to tend to people, to have conversations, to encourage and teach and all those things. And into a season of life now where it's like, okay, Lord, like, what are you leading us to next? And what are you doing now to prepare us for that season? And I just feel like in so many different ways, because He's kind of instilled that desire to be a continual learner, that the uncertainty of what's coming next is okay because I'm learning so much in this season, and I feel like I'm content with preparing for what's coming next, having no clue what's coming next for us, if that makes sense. Yeah. So not so much about my personality.
I was like, we're not content all the time because you're definitely like, but yeah, I stress about the future more than you do.
Yeah. Sometimes.
I think being a learner is part of your personality. Some people literally don't want to learn.
I don't know.
I think you answered it.
That's the best answer I have. So, all right. So I got one of my hard questions out of the way. This is like a softball question for you. So, what is one of your favorite phrases of Emerson?
Probably when we taught him, like 3 sign languages. So we've taught him more, thank you, and please. And the way he says please is please over and over again. And he'll just now, like, he can say the word completely, but he still does the sign language with it wrong. It looks like he's like clucking like a chicken, like flapping his chicken wings. And it's really cute. And so obviously everybody likes to ask him, what do you want? What do you say? Just so that he says it over and over again.
Yeah.
But that's probably going to be one of those things that we're all saying for a while after when he stopped saying it.
Yeah. Please and uh-oh.
Uh-oh. He says that all the time now. Yeah. And obviously he doesn't say mama near as much as daddy. So when he says that, it makes me smile. Alright, what is your favorite thing about being married to me?
Oh, man. I think it's that we do it pretty much, except for my work, we pretty much do everything together. And I love that. I love just being with you all the time. Even in like, we'll be serving in kids ministry or something like that, and just being able to share in that together and like lean on each other and serve together, lead together in how we approach life. I think we approach it with a us mentality before we approach it with a me mentality, and I love that. I really do. And even in like situations where we'll be talking with our friends and we're like telling a story, like almost every time we just go back and forth because we just feed off of each other and bounce sentences off of one another. So yeah, I just think it's being with you all the time. I love spending time with you. And through that, like, have grown so much as a person, as a man, as a husband and father because of you. And so, yeah, I'd be missing out on part of the question if I didn't say part of what I love most about our marriage is that you are playing such a huge role in shaping me to be the man that I want to be and the man that God is calling me to be. I think that's pretty cool. And that we do it together all the time. Yeah.
Do you ever have trouble turning your mind off when your head hits the pillow or getting a good restful night's sleep? We've struggled with that often lately. Between dreaming up new ventures, the long to-do list, and just winding down from the day, it can be difficult to get the much-needed sleep. We've started using Earthly Wellness Goodnight Lotion, and it has made a huge difference. It has helped us to fall asleep faster and to feel more rested when we wake up in the morning. It is rich in magnesium, which has loads of health benefits and helps promote restful sleep and normal sleep cycles. You just apply a small amount, 10 to 15 minutes before you go to bed, and pregnant or nursing mamas, it's healthy and safe for you too. It also helps relieve those leg and muscle cramps that seem to happen in the middle of the night. We can't recommend it enough. If you are interested, click the link in our show notes and check out all the other amazing Earthly products while you're at it. We have grown to love this company because they carry natural, organic, made in the USA products that actually work and are safe for our little babies and kiddos as well. Yes, the link does help support our family. Earthly is generous enough to give a small percentage back to me if you use my link. So thank you so much in advance for your support. And we hope you like the Goodnight Lotion as much as we do.
So we just talked about the future and how we have no idea what the future is going to look like. But I want you to pretend just for a second that you can see into the future and you can see 5 years down the road.
Ugh, I hate these questions.
I know. What, in your picture of what 5 years down the road looks like, what are you most excited about 5 years from now?
I think that on a practical level, like not on a dreaming of maybe this will be where we're at in 5 years, but on a practical level, I think just Emerson will be what, like, goodness, 6.5. So like he'll be starting, have already started homeschooling stuff, and that's something I'm excited about.
That's cool.
And excited to learn and navigate how that's going to all play out. And then also just how much more he'll be able to help, not in the sense of like, I want my kids to help more, but like he's always watching me, and so he's like, I know this won't last long. I'm sure so many parents are like, yeah, you just wait. But right now he loves emptying the dishwasher and like trying to sweep the floor, and just like watching him want to help and want to learn new things, and then how that's going to develop, and in 5 years what those things he's going to be learning, and his at least one little sister, and who knows if there'll be more at that point. And just, I don't know, like I said, the homeschooling, and then just the family of like atmosphere of learning, and the kids being able to help out more, and I don't know, just the new skills that we'll be able to teach at that stage.
Yeah.
I think that's something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think that'll be cool. I'm really excited about just seeing our kids make friends and like seeing them interact with other people. They already interact with Emerson already acts with
Yes.
others, but just seeing them like make friendships and form
Yeah.
friendships, I think will be really, really neat.
Yeah, it would be fun. Yeah, and I think another, like, he's already trying to help you. So, like, outside, like when you were doing the garden, he wanted to dig the holes,
Yeah.
and he wants to try to push the wheelbarrow, and he can't even, like, obviously do any of that. So just like as he continues to watch us in that, how he's gonna be able to be out there. Because every time I see y'all working together, I'm like, oh, he wants to be like daddy.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. And all of the backpacking trips that we're going to be taking
Oh,
as soon
yeah.
as he turns 5. And
5. I did not say 5.
well, close to around then.
Yeah. Nathan's a backpacker, and Emerson loves hiking. And so I think they will be great backpacking and hiking buddies, and I'm not against it, but I'm like, my little boy can't just go sleep in a hammock in the middle of the woods. We'll see when we get
Yeah.
there. Alright, your turn. What is one thing that your parents taught you? Obviously they taught you a lot, but what's one thing that stands out to you that they taught you that you really appreciate now?
I think one of the things that my mom taught me from a very early age is the love of music and how that has and how she used music in my life to share with me the story of Jesus and the biblical story and just how impactful that has been throughout my life of it was the love of music in our home that kind of gave me opportunity to sing in worship bands and lead in worship and kind of led me to pushing myself to learn instruments and learn things like that and all of that was in the context of like, okay, God has given me these skills and things like that. Now let's use it for Him and His kingdom. And so, I think that's one thing that my mom taught me from an early age. And I remember being like 3 or 4 years old because my mom was my preschool music teacher, and so we would be in music class, and I would like. She would obviously be in the front of the class, and I would like run into the room and go sit right next to her and like help lead the class in music. So yeah, those memories and things like that, I think are really cool and just have helped shape my faith in some ways. And then my dad, he. Throughout my whole entire life, like he's just been constant to teach me new things, and it seems like for the most part, like there's not really a topic that my dad doesn't know something about. And he would take me to school in the morning, and I would be riding in the car with him and stuff, and every morning was like a new random topic. And I remember one morning he was just like, all right, son, today you're going to learn how a toilet works. And I was like, Dad, I was like in 6th grade. So I thought it was so gross that he was teaching me how a toilet worked. But just that my dad has always encouraged me to try new things, to learn new things, and has helped me to discover all about what I'm trying to learn about or things like that. And so I think individually those two things of like my mom teaching me the love of music and my dad just being an encouragement and almost like a push of discovering and learning more about whatever I wanted to. But I'd say just in general, both of them, just seeing their marriage and seeing how they love one another, and even through the tough times or the difficult moments of arguments or whatnot, that just seeing my parents love one another and showing me what that looks like, and then pointing it back to Christ, that it's that from as long as I can remember, Jesus and church were the most important things, and just always encouraging me in that, reminding me that they're proud of me, showing me that they love me. I think that's probably the most important thing that they've taught me. Yeah.
That one got a long answer.
Yeah, it did get a long answer. I hope it was an okay answer.
Yeah.
So we've been reading through the Bible. We just finished 1 Samuel this morning. And so, what have you gained any new perspective of like the Bible or the biblical story? And we've talked a little bit about it, but like, have you gained new perspective of the Bible as a whole since we started from Genesis reading all the way through?
Yeah, I think that we've had this similar conversation several times, just because I honestly, I know that I haven't read it just through it in this order and actually made it past
Leviticus?
Probably so, to be honest. And I've definitely read all of certain books. Like, I've probably read most of the books we've already read so far, just not in the order and in the context and like actually soaking it in. And there's been, I don't know, we've had just several questions, and I'm like, the Bible's crazy. Like, the stories are crazy in some instances. I'm like, obviously, kids don't need to read through this. It's one of my things.
Uh-huh.
But then also just like the time frames of everything, I think, has been something that's been eye-opening this time. Of like I said, I've read a lot of what I've already read individually. But just reading it one after the other and after the other. And then when we were talking about Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, and Deuteronomy, I think, I was like, I feel like we're repeating a lot of the same stuff. And then, you're the smart Bible nerd. And so we've had a lot of good conversations of, I ask questions, and then it's stuff he's researched or like learned in, probably mostly just researched on your own, because you like to dig out that type of stuff. So I think it's brought up a lot of conversations of, I'm trying to remember the words you told me that those 4 books of the Bible are. Like, they're like opposite, or like mirrors of each other almost. Starts with a D. I know you know what I'm talking about.
I'll come up. I'll think of it.
Okay.
I'm losing it right now.
Okay, but I think that, to answer your question specifically, it's just the time frame of how everything played out, and how often the people of God fell away, and then came back, and God always forgave them. And we hear that over and over. But then I think something that stood out even more recently is just how often God said, set up an Ebenezer, or which we've talked about this in some of our podcasts already. Tell your kids, tell your kids, tell your kids. If you don't tell your kids, it's going to get lost. And we hear that, but then when you're reading through it, you can literally see, like, while they were in the wilderness, everybody that entered the promised land, minus 2 people, were not who escaped Egypt. Like, they were completely new generation. So like, when you hear all that, just sometimes we're like, well, obviously,
Yeah.
we're like, how can they forget that God just rescued him? How can they be how can they be already turning away from God? But then you're like, well, this is a complete new generation. If they didn't actually have any personal experience with it, it's just what they were told, and it's just I think been eye opening, and also just like that reminder of, if you don't share the stories of how God's working in your life, how are they gonna know whenever we're not here, or whenever something else comes up? If they don't know His faithfulness from what we've told them, then how are they going to know God?
Yeah.
But I think that's been like a convicting part of it for sure.
Yeah. I think that's cool. It's called the chiasm.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
That's not a D.
Not a D. Close.
No. I was like, you've told me this like 4 times, you know. Okay. This is one more that you might not like, but we're ending on a good one. So, what is one bad habit that you know you need to break but don't want to?
Oh, man, really?
It doesn't have to, yeah. Not like a wrong thing, just a habit that you know is not the best one.
Well, okay. So one, and I've been doing so much better about it. So I'm confessing to everyone, you can't get mad at me. This is like a safe zone I'm sharing with the world. When we moved here, because it's like small town, I didn't always wear my seatbelt. And so I've been getting a lot better about wearing my seatbelt around, but still need to do better on that one. That one's kind of a cheap one though, so I'll give you another one. I think for a while, and talked about it maybe last episode, maybe 2 episodes ago, of going through this family leadership program, and one of the things was like, you got to wake up early. You got to wake up early in the morning. And so I like waking up early. I like being in the Word first thing in the morning. I like starting my day off doing that. And I like it so much so that sometimes I will wake up a little bit later or something like that, and still want that time in the Word, still want that time early in the morning to just sit on the recliner and drink my coffee and have no other noise or no other anything else going. I sometimes I sit there a little bit longer than I should, and so I'm pushing it out the door. I'm not always on time, and so that's probably a habit that I need to change, of like doing something different or getting up and going a little bit sooner, or changing that. So
yeah, but to praise you, whenever we met, I don't think you had woken up before, like, I don't know, 10 noon unless you had to get to work, since like school age. So you're doing really, really good, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah, well, thanks. Just make me share my faults with the world.
No, but you get up before I do every day for like probably
Not
a
every
lot
day.
of most every day.
Yeah.
For a lot of months now.
Yeah. It's definitely something that I've been trying to grow in throughout our marriage, and more so now than in those early months, year. All right. I wanted to ask you, just this is our 20th episode, and not that 20 is like an extremely high number or anything like that. There's podcasts with like hundreds of episodes, but when we first started talking about doing a podcast together and wanting to record it, it was a challenge. It was going to stretch you, and it got you out of your comfort zone a little bit. And I just want to ask you and for you to share, like, how have you seen the growth in now the 20th episode? How have you seen the growth over this, over these last few months of doing this? And also in that, how have you seen God's goodness in pursuing this thing and challenging yourself to start a podcast with me?
Yeah, I think that my biggest pushback from the beginning was, well, at first you wanted us to do video too, and I was like, no, I don't want to have to worry about I didn't want to have to do video. And then once we got out of, no, we don't have to do video yet, which I think I think that you haven't given up on trying to push me to video, but I will be more open to it now than I was. But
You heard it here first.
I said more open than I was.
Okay. All right.
But once we got past that, it was just like I think it was probably personally lack of personal confidence, or just like kind of like this episode, being put on the spot and not knowing what to say. But I think that honestly, after the last few, like one of the reasons we wanted to start a podcast and just kind of in a lot of the things that we are, whenever we're throwing around new ideas of, well, we could do this together, it's the together part. Like, we want to find something that we can do together in our extra time, not you have to do it after work or I have to do it after Emerson goes down, like something we can do together. So that was, when you first mentioned a podcast, I was like, yeah, that's something we could do together. That'd probably be fun. And then the next time it got brought up, I was like, oh, wait, you were serious? I don't know about that. And then, it took a while. And so now, I think just I'm more comfortable with it, and it's not as difficult. And we're also just talking into a mic, so if you were to put me in front of a bunch of people or put on a video, I'd probably re-panic all over again. But I don't know. It's been good to be able to just have conversations, honestly, with each other, whenever Emerson's in bed, or usually it's after we've laid Emerson down. And just also, I think one of the things that's been an encouragement already is just our friends, honestly, mostly who we've heard from are just local friends, have been super supportive so far, and just encouraged us in what we're doing, and that's not that that's what we are doing it for. We're not doing it for the encouragement, but obviously that helps. I don't know, helps us want to keep doing it, and helps me have that confidence to keep trying to do it and trying new things. So I think it's definitely one of those, like, step out of my comfort zone, and kind of pushed me gently, after not so gently, but then gently, and then it's like we're seeing the rewards of that, and it's just fun to get to do it together.
Yeah, I think one of the things, just thinking about, the challenges and things like that, when God leads us to something else in our life, when he leads us to something new or different, like it's usually not easy to step into at first, and I think that's on purpose, because you don't grow, you don't develop when the conditions are familiar and comfortable. Right? You don't put on muscle whenever you're lifting the same amount of weight that you do every morning, which for me right now is nothing. Maybe that's a bad habit too that I need to fix and jump on. But no, but like for an athlete that trains, they build muscle by increasing the stress load, by increasing the amount of reps, by increasing the distance, by increasing the strain, and that's what builds the muscle. That's how they train for the end goal. And I think if we're training for the end goal, if we're looking for what whatever God is leading us to for that 80-year picture in our lives, that we're going to have to seek and be led to things that don't really want to do all the time.
Yeah, I think that was the hard part at the beginning, because when you first mentioned it and then just like praying about it, I knew that it was something that I needed to do, or that Jesus was calling us to, like deep down. But then when we would turn on the mic, those first couple of times, it was just like panic. Like I lose all my words, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But then, so we'd pause, and then I'd still, like later that night, I would know in that moment, no, this is like I could just feel that, like, not conviction, but just that like gentle pull of like, even from God, of like, no, this is what that you need to step out in this. I think that was the difficult part at the beginning, just because I knew it was something I needed to do, but I didn't necessarily want to do it. But just seeing his faithfulness already in that has been cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more question.
All right.
And you'll like this one. What are you most excited about in transforming the land that we bought into a home, or maybe not even just into a home, but like transforming it into our future, I guess?
Oh man.
Most excited about.
Most excited
You
about.
can't share everything.
I mean, what I'm most excited about is creating a place and a space for our kids to grow and learn. Like, I just picture, like building the home that our kids are going to become good friends in. Like, that's a cool idea. Like, creating the land and the environment for our kids to walk outside the front door and like step into a science experiment of learning right at their fingertips, and just seeing the joy in their lives because of it. We've mentioned Brittany's cousins and their family of 6, and we actually went and hung out with them recently, and one of the really cool things that I just loved about when we're up there with them is they when they talk about like the animals that they're raising, and they're sharing about their dairy cow and the calves that they like, they're just all so joyful and excited and happy about sharing that part of their life.
And the
with
kids
us.
are too, yeah.
No, that's what I mean, the kids. And so like, whenever those homesteading milestones happen, where like we get a new animal, or we're learning about a new breed, or we're learning about a new aspect of how to homestead and do all those things. I think I love the aspect of providing for our family through that, but I love just the vision of seeing our family, seeing the joy in our family from the life that we're creating on our homestead.
Yeah, and you can just tell like they take ownership over it. Honestly, in some ways, like as much as their parents do, and in just like, yeah, the excitement and then the responsibility, and yeah, it's really neat.
Yeah, like to see Emerson running after chasing a chicken, or
yes,
or
you'll be doing all the chicken chasing for me.
Yeah, or like going up and petting the sheep or the goats, or
us having people over and he's taking them on their little farm tours.
yeah, I just love it.
Yeah.
And hearing him say tractor all the time.
That's probably another phrase that I like. Go back to that question. He always wants to ride the tractor, but everything's a tractor. A side by side, an actual tractor. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, do you have any other surprise questions?
No.
Nope, that's it.
That's it.
All right. Well, we're going to celebrate our 3 years of marriage, and we just want to say thank you for letting us get to 20 episodes. And we're just thankful for all of you who listen, thankful for our friends and family, and everyone who out there who is listening to us and supporting us. We just appreciate all of it. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.